I was clinically dead for 4 minutes, yet in that razor-thin slice of eternity, I watched a cosmic clock tick down the future of our world. Precisely 33 days. Picture a high-definition stadium screen suspended in pitch-black nothingness, its fiery numbers pulsing like a heartbeat. 33, 32, 23, 59, 59. Every second I stared, the timer stole a breath from humanity. A thunder that had no sound vibrated inside my chest, and a voice I could feel more than hear whispered, "You asked for proof. Now bear the weight of knowing." I'm a rational engineer, a husband, a father, a skeptic. Moments earlier I was laughing at a barbecue. Moments later I was floating above paramedics pounding on my lifeless body. What I saw next will fracture your sense of safety, challenge everything you think you know about time, and leave you begging for the one question that kept me alive. What happens when the countdown hits 0? Stay with me, because the clock is still running. My name is Jacob Turner, 42 years old, senior systems engineer for a Fortune 500 tech firm in Austin, Texas. Friday, April 12th, 7:18 p.m. I was manning the grill in my backyard. The air smelled like mesquite and optimism. My wife, Clara, was setting the picnic table, our 2 kids kicking a soccer ball under the oaks. I remember raising the spatula, then an explosion of white behind my eyes. It wasn't pain first, it was absence, as if somebody pressed mute on reality. I dropped to one knee, the world tilting sideways. Clara's voice tunneled through water. "Jake, talk to me." Next thing I knew, I was face down on the grass, ribs cracking under compressions. EMTs cut my favorite shirt, slapped defib pads on my chest, and fired 200 joules of electricity into my heart. The instant the second shock hit, I slipped through the top of my skull like steam escaping a kettle. There was no tunnel, no relatives waving, just a vertigo-dark void, and the shocking realization that I was still thinking. I spun 360 degrees, yet had no body to spin. Then, almost comically, a transparent rectangle materialized before me, roughly the size of a jumbotron. Red digits glowed against a charcoal backdrop, counting down with mechanical precision. At first I assumed I was hallucinating hospital equipment, but the scale was planetary. I could feel continents shiver every time the numbers changed. Hovering to the left of the timer was a single word carved in liquid light. Remaining. Beneath it another. Consequence. Data scrolled beneath like a stock ticker. Dates, coordinates, names, millions of lines per second, each line evaporating as soon as I tried to read it. When I attempted to blink, I realized I had no eyelids. The vision wasn't external, it was poured into me. And then the presence arrived. It didn't step or glide, it unfolded as though space itself opened a zipper and something older than galaxies peeked through. No wings, no halo, just a field of intelligence dense enough to crush stars, yet gentle enough to cradle a child. "Do you comprehend?" the presence asked, though no mouth moved. The words ricocheted inside my consciousness with the taste of ozone. Before I could answer, memories detonated around me. Every lie I'd told, every grudge I'd nursed, every empty promise I'd made to my kids when work felt more important. They played simultaneously, stacked like translucent videos, each sin glowing red. With every heartbeat of the clock, another memory turned from red to black as if stamped overdue. I tried to speak, but realization garroted my voice. The countdown wasn't my expiration date, it was everyone's. 33 days until something unthinkable, and I was being shown the invoice for humanity's debt. Panic in the afterlife is different from panic in flesh. There's no adrenaline to mask terror. My thoughts were naked, amplified. Why 33? I projected. Biblical? Astrological? Arbitrary? The presence answered by thrusting me into a panoramic montage of Earth's timeline. I watched volcanic rock cool into continents, saw pyramids rise and crumble, saw skyscrapers pierce clouds like glass spears. For each era, a smaller countdown hovered overhead, always resetting at key pivots. The fall of Rome, the Black Plague, Hiroshima. The pattern was unmistakable. Humanity receives windows of mercy, countdowns to course correct. Sometimes we do. Mostly we don't. We were now on humanity's final iteration. The presence zoomed me into the current clock, 33 days, and ticking. "This is Mercy's last echo," the voice said. "Your species requested proof. Proof has a price." Suddenly, I was yanked down thousands of feet, through Manhattan high-rises into boardrooms, through suburban kitchens where screens glowed blue against worried faces. I saw my own future self, weeping on a podcast begging listeners to believe my story. Comments scrolled beneath. "Nut job, clickbait prophet, tell us the lotto numbers." Most viewers treated the warning like an ARG, a viral game. The presence wasn't finished. It opened what felt like a backstage door in reality, and I stood in a gargantuan data vault, aisles of crystalline tablets stacked to the cosmic ceiling. Each tablet pulsed with an individual's potential future. Blue shards meant redemption, red meant ruin. Statisticians dream of certainty. This was certainty weaponized. The presence gestured and an aisle burst into flames, 7 billion tablets igniting domino style until only ash remained. The message was blisteringly simple. Free will ends where apathy begins. I begged for actionable intel. Tell me how to stop it. An asteroid? Nuclear exchange? Pandemic 2.0? The presence replied, "Outcome is a mosaic of private choices. Change the tiles, change the picture." My frustration boiled. I'm one man with a defibrillator scar and zero credibility. Nobody's going to hand me the keys to global repentance. The presence's response cracked through me like ice. One heart influences 10, 10 sway 1,000, 1,000 shift a nation. The question is not whether they'll listen, it's whether you will speak. In that moment, I felt something rarely talked about in NDEs. Shame so radioactive it glowed. All the times I'd scrolled past petitions, scoffed at hunger stats, clicked away from war footage because it ruined my dinner. The clock dipped under 32 days, 23 hours. The presence receded, leaving me alone with the merciless digits and the echoes of a planet running out of tomorrows. Somewhere far below, paddles charged for a third shock. Impact. I slammed back into my body like a meteor striking concrete. Air ripped into collapsed lungs, and I heard my own scream before knowing how to form it. Paramedic voices overlapped. "We've got him." Sinus rhythm. But they sounded muffled, as if through concrete walls. I tried to sit. Straps held me. Clara's tears splashed my forehead, mixing with sweat and grass. Yet the clock kept superimposing itself over reality, translucent, a heads-up display I couldn't dismiss. In the ICU, they diagnosed a widowmaker myocardial infarction, 100% blockage of the left anterior descending artery. The cardiologist said I got lucky. I wanted to laugh. 33 days is not lucky. When I closed my eyes to rest, cinematic nightmares looped. Oceans swallowing coasts, financial markets hemorrhaging trillions, families rioting in grocery aisles stripped bare. The scenarios shapeshifted every viewing, but each ended on day 33, exactly at midnight UTC, when the feed cut to black. No post-credits scene, just silence. On day 2 of recovery, I recorded a voice memo, detailing every frame I could recall. I mapped the countdown against major geopolitical flashpoints: Ukraine, Taiwan, AI singularity predictions, climate tipping points. Eerie overlaps surfaced. NASA had a conference scheduled on day 33 about unexpected solar anomalies. Multiple central banks planned digital currency beta tests. An extremist forum circulated cryptic messages. D33 unlocks. Coincidence or cogs in a bigger machine? I felt my engineer brain chewing data, wanting empirical proof. Meanwhile, the clock hovered, indifferent to my analysis paralysis. That night, the presence returned. Not in a vision, but through a nurse named Miguel who walked in for vitals. As he adjusted my IV, he whispered without looking up, "When a clock strikes 0, it doesn't stop time. It starts accountability." His eyes flicked to mine, radiating the same eternity I felt in the void. Then, like snapping out of a trance, he blinked, asked my pain level, and had no memory of the phrase he'd spoken. I realized the message would spread through ordinary people, slip inside everyday conversations, haunt dreams, infect tweets. The universe was crowdsourcing the warning, and I was just one node in the network. I discharged myself against medical advice on day 5, scar-stitched, chest sore, mind on fire. I built a studio in the garage, pointed a 4K camera at my battered face, and hit record. View count hour 1, 4. View count 24 hours later, 1.2 million. Exposure breeds mockery, trolls feasted. But buried within the sarcasm were emails from strangers who'd seen the same clock during drownings, overdoses, battlefield injuries. Their timers matched mine to the second. We formed a private Discord, the 33 witnesses. Our goal? Translate countdown anxieties into deliberate, tangible compassion. Food drives, ceasefire petitions, therapy vouchers, blood donations. No apocalypse rants, only action. The timer fell to 28 days. Today is day 22. As I speak these words into the microphone, 11 days remain on the cosmic ledger. Every morning I wake at exactly 3:33 a.m., drenched in sweat, because the clock's digits echo inside my eyelids. I've abandoned my job, cashed half my 401k, and pumped everything into amplification. Ad buys, VR recreations of the void, guerrilla projection mapping on downtown skyscrapers. 11 days left. Listen. Some call it performance art. Others call it terrorism of the mind. I call it emergency protocol. Does the presence guarantee success if enough hearts pivot? No. That's the risk. Free will is kryptonite and salvation entwined. Maybe we hit zero and transcend. Maybe we detonate our civilization like fireworks. The outcome remains quantum until the stroke of midnight. But here's what has changed. In the 3 weeks since my video went viral, suicide hotlines report a 19% drop. Divorce mediators cite record reconciliations. Donations to hunger relief have quadrupled. The fear of finality has resurrected empathy. I often return to the barbecue memory, the whiff of mesquite, the soccer ball arc. Normal life, unremarkable, until it wasn't. That's the hidden mercy of the clock. It paints every mundane second with neon significance. You reading this caption? Sipping coffee, annoyed by traffic. Your breath is counterfeit eternity. Spend it deliberately. If the countdown aborts because we chose kindness, nobody will build a statue to commemorate the apocalypse that never came. But our children will bake birthday cakes on day 34, oblivious to the cataclysm we dodged by inches. Oblivion is loud. Survival is quiet. I'm okay with quiet. If midnight arrives and judgment descends, I'll face it with scarred chest bared, whispering to the presence. I spoke. I tried. And perhaps that is the true accounting. Not success or failure, but willingness. The clock currently reads 10 days, 17 hours, 42 minutes, and 09 seconds. By the time you finish this video, shave another few minutes off the ledger. Ask yourself, when the final second clicks into black, will you wish you had loved harder, forgiven sooner, believed deeper? The answer you give right now might be the lever that tilts the future toward dawn instead of darkness. Because here's the truth they do not tell you in church or therapy or TED Talks. Time doesn't care about your plans. It keeps moving whether you waste it or wield it. And 11 days from now, when the numbers fade to zero, the only currency that matters is what you did with the heartbeat you were given. If this story stirred something inside you, fear, hope, urgency, don't let the next tick slip away. Smash the bell, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this video with one person you refuse to lose when the clock hits zero. Your click is more than an algorithm boost, it's proof you heard the warning. See you tomorrow if tomorrow sees us first.